Hey friends, welcome to today's video. Today we are playing with some brand new luxury beauty. I have a couple of products here that I have been playing with and testing over the last couple of weeks from Charlotte Tilbury, like her new cream bronzer. I also have the new Westman Atelier Vital Skincare Pressed Powder to play with. I picked up a new shade in the color Chameleon eye crayon from Charlotte Tilbury. This is a formula that I love, but I picked up a new shade. I also picked up two little quad palettes from Charlotte Tilbury. These are both, one of them is new. The new Pillow Talk Dreams Luxury Palette. I think this is like the newer version of the Pillow Talk. And then I picked up this beautiful one, which is not a new, but it just looked so gorgeous. It's the Exagger Eyes Bigger Brighter Eyes filter. So we're just gonna be kind of playing around and I'm gonna share with you guys kind of my thoughts on these products. I do wanna thank Nordstrom for teaming up with me on this video. Always such a pleasure and honor to partner with Nordstrom. They are one of my favorite places to shop for beauty and fashion. This little dress that I'm wearing is from Nordstrom as well. All right, you guys, let's go ahead and get started. I do have foundation and I have concealer on. To let you know what I have on, I'm wearing the NARS Light Reflecting foundation on my face, and I have this shade Patagonia on. And then for concealer, I put on some of the Bobbi Brown Creamy Concealer, this one here that comes with the little pressed powder on the side to set. But I did not set my under eyes with this because we're gonna go in and use the Westman Atelier new Vital Pressed powder to set. But first, we're gonna go in and bronze and warm up the skin. So I'm going to use the Charlotte Tilbury Beautiful Skin Sun-Kissed Glow Bronzer. Now I got this right when it launched, and this is actually the first time that I think I've gotten on camera to talk about it. I wanted the lighter shade, but it, you know, as typical, Charlotte Tilbury launches kind of sell out quickly, so I was only able to get the medium. It's a little dark for me, but it does work. And the way that I like to apply this product is I like to take a fluffy kind of powder brush. This is the BK Beauty 107, but it's the travel size, so it's a little bit shorter handle. And I actually just like to kind of press it into the product. Since this is a darker color, I want to be soft so that I don't, you know, get too much pigment initially. You can always go in and build. And I just press on the skin. This brush is great at picking up product and applying it. You don't really need to pull or drag or sweep. This product is very pigmented, very creamy. It's a nice texture because it's creamy, but it's not really emollient, so it doesn't slip around on the face. It stays on all day. It's really beautiful. If I were to use a smaller, more dense brush, I would get a lot more pigment, but because this again is darker than I typically use, I don't want to do that. I just want to use this fluffy brush so that I can slowly build to get color. It's really, really nice. When this first arrived, it kind of looked like it had a powder texture to it, and then once you swatched it, you could feel that creaminess. I still need to get the lighter one. Whenever I've been in store though, it has been sold out still. Once I get to the hairline, I kind of just, you know, I sweep a little, I put a little bit more pressure to blend it into the hairline. I might go back and add a little bit more, but for now I'm going to stop because I'm going to go in and add some cheek color. I am going to use the Westman Atelier blush stick, and I'm going to use the shade Chauchette, which is a nice, pretty, kind of soft peach, and I'm going to use the same technique. So I'm going to use the brush, and I'm just going to go straight to the product. Sometimes I will actually apply the product to the skin. The difference really in the two approaches is you're going to get a little bit more natural application doing it this way, taking the brush to the stick. So you get a little bit more opportunity to build and gradually build. I actually saw this little tip on Kelly Gooch's Instagram. If you don't follow her, I will link her down below. She does really beautiful content, and she was doing a video the other day actually using a BK Beauty brush, no big deal, and using a cream bronzer. I think she was using the Milk bronzer, and she was sharing that tip of going to brush to the product. You're going to get a lighter, more sheer application. I love this blush stick formula. It's the best in my opinion. I have yet to find a cream blush that is as beautiful as this formula. All right, now I'm gonna go and set everything. I do see a little bit of creasing under the eyes with that concealer, so I wanna go in and set that before it has time to move around. Now I'm gonna go in, I'm gonna take the Westman Atelier Vital Skin Pressed Powder, and I got the shade Cream, and I'm gonna grab a little powder brush, and I'm just gonna go and set right underneath the eyes with that. This is a really nice, lightweight, silky formula. I've been using this for a couple of weeks now, and it really does smooth out texture. I actually like to apply it with a smaller brush, really target where I apply it. So I'm gonna apply it on the nose, and I'm gonna apply it around the blush. I'm not necessarily gonna go over the blush and bronzer with this brush because it is smaller and more dense. You can go over cream products with powder, but I would use a very like fluffy brush. Like I'm gonna switch over here now to the BK Beauty 103. You can see this is a lot larger and fluffier. So this is gonna apply product very lightly, and I'm just gonna lightly press over the cream. That way I don't absorb any of that or minimize the you know, pigment that I just spent time building. So I've just put a little bit of eye primer on the lid. I'm actually gonna go back in with the Westman Atelier powder and a crease brush, and I'm just gonna dust this over the lid all the way to the brow to just kind of set that primer in place. This powder is very lightweight, silky. It's described as being like a feathery powder. It's really, really nice. Okay. So next we're gonna go in and build our crease, and I'm gonna start with this first palette. This is the Exagger Eyes Bigger Brighter Eyes. I'm gonna go in with the matte shade. There's only one matte shade in the palette, and we're going to use the BK Beauty 201, and I'm just gonna kind of softly blend that into the crease. So I'm kind of working it right in here to the inner corner, almost into the brow a little bit, but I'm really shearing it out. I want this like real kind of blown out, diffused look into the crease. It reminds me of Jennifer Lopez's makeup. Do you ever notice how she has just like this really sultry, blown out smoky eye that goes all the way into the brow? Next, I'm gonna take this shade right here, and I'm actually gonna take my finger to apply it first. Okay, so that shade is really beautiful. It's very shimmery, but in a very light way, but I think I wanna apply a color down first. So what I'm actually gonna do is I'm gonna go in, I'm gonna take this shade right here, and we're going to take the BK Beauty 203 brush. We're gonna load up the side of it, and we're gonna pack this down first. Next, I'm gonna go in, I'm gonna do that step of taking this shade with my finger and laying it on top. So this will give a really beautiful, highly reflective quality, but because we have that shadow underneath there, you have a bit more opaqueness. I do wanna go in and deepen the outer corner and outer crease. So I'm gonna go into the new Pillow Talk palette, and I'm gonna take a smaller crease brush. I'm actually gonna take the BK Beauty 202, and I'm gonna take the darkest little shade right here, and I'm just gonna tap it on the tip. I just want the tip because I don't want to get dark too much on the eye, and I have smaller eyes, so I really want to make sure I can control where I apply that darker shadow. We're going to pop it right there in the outer corner, and if you'll notice, I'm just kind of basically keeping my brush in the same spot, but I'm rotating my hand in little circles. So I'm not going back and forth, because that'll bring the dark too far over. I just want to keep that dark right in the outer corner, but I want to make sure that the edges are blended out so that it doesn't look like a harsh little, you know, spot of darkness. I'm just gonna go back and kind of layer until I get the amount of darkness that I want and make sure that it's even on both sides. Okay, perfect. And then I'm gonna go back in with that light color that we first used. I'm gonna take that same brush that we started with, the 201, and I'm just gonna sweep it over, again, to just make sure everything is blended together really softly. So to line my lower lashes, I'm using the color Chameleon, but I'm using the shade Bronzed Garnet. My favorite shade in this is the Amber Haze, which is kind of like an olivey green. This is more of a coppery reddish bronze. Do you see that? So we're gonna line the lower lash line with this. And I'm gonna start all the way from the outer corner, and I'm gonna work my way over about halfway. I'm gonna go in and take that first shade we used in the crease, and I'm gonna take the BK Beauty 204 brush, and we're just gonna run it right at the edge of that liner. This is gonna kind of set that product since it is a creamier eye kohl or like an eye crayon. I wanna put a powder there to set it to keep it from, you know, transferring or moving, but it's also going to give it a little bit more of a hazy edge. Then I'm taking the 204 and I'm kind of pulling it up. So now I'm just kind of lifting that shadow a bit to give the illusion of a lifted eye. Perfect. Okay, lovely. Next, I'm gonna go in and line my inner waterline. I'm just gonna be using this really nice light nude shade. This is by the brand Inglot. Just do a quick little line there. Next, I'm going to line my upper lash line, and I'm using the Trish McAvoy Gel Eyeliner in black. This is a super creamy kohl pencil, so it'll go on really easily and effortlessly. But once it dries, it stays in place. And I'm just gonna do a nice thin little line right on the outer half of my eye. I'm gonna try and get it nice and neat because I don't wanna smoke this out too much. But if you mess up, don't worry. You can always go back with a brush, a small brush like the 204, run it over it to just smooth it out. I am gonna do that with this, but I'm not going to create a real smoky look. I just wanna run it over a little bit to elongate that line. So I'm basically kind of spreading it. This is a great pencil to tight line with too. It's one of my favorites to tight line with because it's very ultra rich and black, and it goes on really well and opaque. So you don't have to sit there and like run it over several times to get payoff. You just do a quick little swipe and it's there. All right, next I'm gonna curl my lashes and apply mascara. For mascara, I'm using the Dior Lash Primer mixed with the Lancome Big Monsieur Mascara. So let's go ahead and do that. So for lips, I want to keep the lips really nice nude but muted. So I'm using the Charlotte Tilbury lip liner in Iconic Nude. This is a really nice, like light peachy, more on the brown side lip pencil. It is a great liner to overline the lips. So I've overlined the lips a little bit, and I've also filled in a bit. Whenever you overline the lips, you want to make sure that you bring that liner into the lip a bit, so when it fades off, you don't just have this obvious overlined look. I also recommend using a nude lip pencil, even if you're going to use a bold color on the lips. Line with a nude pencil when you overline, because if you overline with like a bright red or a dark berry or a bright fuchsia, you know, as that wears off, it's going to look like theater makeup. So use a nude pencil first, and you can always go ahead and add your bold color on top. For lipstick, I'm using the shade Runway Royalty from Charlotte Tilbury. Just a really nice kind of matte, muted peachy nude shade. Really pretty. This is definitely a bit more cool tone on the lips than I usually do. I usually do like a pinky peach. It's a bit warmer, but I kind of like this look. So this is the finished look. I hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial. I love the way that the makeup came out. I really love that shimmery on the eyes. I think Charlotte Tilbury has some of the best like topper shimmer shades because they add a lot of high shine, but they're so sheer and light that they don't magnify texture or look heavy on the eyelid. Some of my favorite products that I use today are the Charlotte Tilbury Cream Bronzer. If you haven't picked this up and you've been on the fence about it, I highly recommend it. The only downside I think really is the size of it. It's similar to the size of the Charlotte Tilbury powder bronzer, which also is equally as fabulous. I also love these little Charlotte Tilbury quads. I own a couple of them. I knew what to expect with the quality. The formulation is, you know, some of the best in my opinion. And I love how she packages these up to have a matte, like a sheer topper shimmer shade and then some shimmery shades. In this look, use mostly the Exagger eyes. I do want to create a look soon using this Pillow Talk, the new Pillow Talk, because this was beautiful. When I was at Nordstrom and the sales lady showed this to me, I was like, yes, add to cart. So love those. The Westman Atelier powder is so beautiful. It's very sheer, very silky. If I had to think of a powder that it kind of reminds me of, I might say the Charlotte Tilbury airbrush powder, maybe. Really great for underneath the eyes. What I love about this powder is it is a powder you can set the entire face with or use under the eyes. You have to be really careful with the powders that we use underneath the eyes because you don't want to use anything too heavy that'll just make the under eye area look dry or magnify texture. This does not. It is so beautiful. Thank you guys for spending time with me today. I hope you enjoyed this look. I hope you guys have a beautiful day, and I will see you in my next one. Bye guys.